Hey Todd, how you doing?
Doing great, Rob. How about yourself?
All right, back on Still Talking with Rob and Todd. Man, everything in Stiller Land is kind of quiet right now.
It is.
But hey, we need it quiet right now because anything that usually comes out around this time is usually pretty negative.
For sure. Especially, once the guys break up and leave camp and go out on their own here for about 6 weeks, give or take.
Yeah,
That's normally when, yeah, something negative can happen. But so far, so good. And yeah, hopefully everybody's on the up and up and enjoying some downtime with family, but
yep.
staying focused on the task ahead.
Yeah, vacation time. Everybody get their vacations in before you get back to the grind for what, 6 months? Hopefully
Pretty much.
seven.
At least, yeah, you hope so. You hope
Yeah,
so.
hopefully seven. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny Pickett. We doing a show today about Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett got married. That's a good thing this time
It,
of
it
year.
it is, man. It is.
That's good news. He got married to Amy Paternoster. Hopefully I
Okay.
said that right, Amy. And did you see the ice sculpting? The Steeler ice sculpting, Todd?
I did. I did. I saw they had a short video of that on, I think, ESPN Plus. I think that's where I saw it at. But yeah, very cool.
That was nice. He had a few players there. A lot of his college buddies there.
Yeah,
One good thing I like about it, he's gonna be stable
for
early in his
sure.
career,
Yeah.
right? Won't be driving motorcycles and hitting cars and stuff.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Oh, the early days of Ben was crazy, man.
It definitely was, man.
Yeah, let's get into it. I want to compare him to the other quarterbacks in the division. We
Okay.
got on the top of the list. I think everybody agrees. Your fellow LSU guy, SEC guy, right?
Uh-huh.
Out of Cincinnati. Then we got Lamar Jackson coming out of the Ratbirds, the hated
Yeah,
Ratbirds.
for sure.
And then we got Deshaun Watson coming out of Cleveland, the Brownies, the Browns. Then you got Kenny Pickett. Is Kenny Pickett last right now?
Well, Rob, I mean, certainly based on pedigree and based on what you've done in the league, of course he's last because he's the youngest of the four.
Right.
And that's why temporarily I would put him last because I'm basing it personally on production. What have you done? Well,
Yeah.
he's got a very short window that he's played in so far. So with him, it's all potential. Whereas the other guys, even though obviously Burrow is still pretty young,
Uh huh.
Lamar is still pretty young, but you kind of know what direction those guys are headed in for the most part. You can
Right.
get surprises, you can get injuries, and receivers going down or getting traded. There's all kinds of stuff that can change the trajectory of a quarterback.
Uh huh.
But I think out of all those quarterbacks, Rob, I'll say this: Kenny Pickett, because he's the newest cat, to me, he's also got the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some question marks with Deshaun because he's been away,
Right.
really for a few years. He only had a partial year last year. So there's still some question marks there. Lamar's in a new system with a new offensive coordinator, new wide receivers. But just to kind of wrap a bow on it, yes, I'm putting Kenny P as of right now. Season hasn't even started. I'm putting him at number 4, but I could easily see by the end of the year him being at number 3 and possibly at 2, depending on what the Steelers do as an organization.
I'm gonna tell you from last year, ending the season, he was at number 2.
Okay.
Lamar was hurt. He didn't play most of the year.
Right.
I think he outplayed Deshaun Watson last year.
I won't disagree with you there because again, I mean Deshaun's situation was self-inflicted. I mean, he missed, what was it, Rob, the first 10, 11 games of the season. So, I mean, he really didn't have much of a window himself. I mean, if you look at it, I think KP actually played more than Deshaun did.
Yeah.
But I will agree with you that certainly I think KP performed pretty well after his first couple games.
Yeah.
He looked really good. So, I know you're going to always see the bright side of things. And so I'm not surprised that you said KP at number 2, but I'm gonna go into this year again being optimistic myself, but being realistic in that he really hasn't done anything yet. And again, because he hasn't really had the opportunity to.
Yeah.
So I think he will work his way up the ladder, whether it is by the end of this year or next year. But I tell you, I will say this: I feel a lot better with Kenny Pickett is my quarterback long term than if I was a Cleveland Browns fan and I had Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, we'll get into that later because that's a big question. I would ask why.
Right.
But anyway, let's move on. Last year's stats, KP had 2,404 yards, total passing yards. That equals out to 184.9 per game. At 237 rushing yards total. And his QBR was 51.5, which ranked 20th among all the QBs that played last year.
Right.
What do you think about those stats? To me, I think interceptions to touchdowns, I think it was 7 touchdowns to 9 interceptions.
Yes.
But I think most of those interceptions came in his first 2 games or something like that. Again, I know he had 3 one game.
Exactly. But what would you expect? He was a rookie.
Right.
You knew he was going to make mistakes. All rookies, make mistakes.
Yeah.
So, his statistics are highly skewed between the first couple of games and those last 3 or 4.
Yeah. Well, the last 7.
Well, yeah, overall, but I mean, within those grouping of games, Rob, he had 2 or 3 games where he played really well.
Right. What you need to see from him next year, Todd, to put us in a favorable pattern to win and get in the playoffs and win a playoff game? Because I'm getting tired of all these Tomlin haters talking stuff about our coach, and they are still fans.
Again, Rob, it's just because they're greedy, they're demanding, and they have a sense of entitlement that because they're Steeler fans, that we should, win 1 or 2 playoff games every year. It just doesn't work like that. You can have the best organization in the world, and I firmly believe that the Steelers have one of the top 3 or 4 organizations in the entire NFL. But that does not buy you postseason victories or Super Bowls. There's just too much. There's too much stuff at play. But look, not only does Kenny P have to get used to the speed of the game, Rob, and get used to that level of play.
Right.
He's also got to get some help from the coaches as well. And, the word I would come into this season with from last year's, we have to stop being predictable in our play calling. To me, that is a huge thing. Obviously, you have to have the talent around you to succeed. And I do feel like the Steelers have brought in pieces to help Kenny Pickett get better.
Right.
But there's him and the offensive coordinator and the offensive or the QB coach, they all got to be on the same page. And obviously, those 3 guys have got to be on the same page with Mike Tomlin.
I disagree with you, Todd.
Okay.
I think they trying to get back to predictability. If you look at the best teams in the league, they do things so well, you know what they're going to do, but you cannot stop it.
I hear what you're saying, Rob, and look, I'm okay with a run-centric offense. I don't have a problem with that. What I'm getting to specifically is that when we do throw the ball, that we're not so predictable. We lamented the whole season how the Steelers hardly ever threw the ball down the middle of the field. I mean,
Yeah.
you knew what kind of plays they were going to call, which makes it a lot easier to defend. No, I'm okay with running the ball more because I do think that that's where the talent lies at this exact moment. I do think when the receiver core gets a little bit better, and certainly maybe more of a veteran core, that you'll see them open up the offense a little bit more and get back to passing the ball a little bit more. But yeah, to help Kenny out and to make him a winning quarterback and a postseason winning quarterback, the Steelers definitely have to get back to establishing the running game. There's no doubt about that. We want the ball in our hands and not in the opposing team's offensive hands.
Right. Which I think they really trying to get back to some predictability and develop a culture. You know what the Steelers are. We're going to come in, we're going to run smash mouth ball, make you like it, throw over the top of you, down the field, sideways, wherever we want to, because you're going to be so concerned with the run. The people they brought in this year, the linemen, those guys are nasty, they big, and they like to hit. So I can see us doing a lot more running, and a lot more play action. And one good thing Kenny has about his style and his play, he's fearless throwing down the middle. He made a lot of plays down the middle at the end of the year that you don't see from rookies. Throwing over the linebacker, under the safety, dropping a dime in between. Something that Big Mitch can't do. You see what I'm saying? I don't think you got to have confidence and you got to be able to do it.
No, I definitely, that's one thing I do like about Kenny Pickett, Rob. I mean, he's not afraid to make the tough plays. Now, again, I go back though to the coaching is, will they make play calls that will push that scenario? Again, the Steelers did not throw the ball enough down the middle of the field. If that's a strength of Kenny P's, as he gets older and his accuracy gets better and his anticipation gets better, I think that needs to be a larger part of the offense. Again, I'm all for running the ball. I mean, if you told me by the end of this upcoming season, we're grounding it out 150, 160 yards a game. Our time of possession is well over 30 minutes a game, maybe 33, 34, something like that.
Right.
And we've got a great, third down conversion percentage and red zone percent, all that stuff, then I will be just tickled pink. But if we don't attain or whatever their goals are as a team, which we don't know, but if they don't attain all those goals, then we got to go back and look and say, okay, why did that not happen? And I'm just throwing it out there early that, the play calling could be a part of that issue.
Yeah, you just want Matt Canada fired. That's all.
Well, I mean, if you go ahead and throw your hat in the ring, we can get past all this stuff.
Yeah.
And get with it.
Yeah. All right, Todd. So what we need numbers wise, for us to get there, I need a playoff win this year.
I know you do.
I'm getting to the point where I'm getting a little bit optimistic. At first I said I think we need to get to the playoffs, but I think we need a win. I see as far as passing yards total, I think he need to be close to the 4,000 range, maybe a little bit over. Yards per game, I would like to see. I don't know what that average out to, but a little bit over 215, 220. Rushing yards, maybe push it up 330, 350. I don't need him running too much. And a QBR, I need him to get in really close to 60, maybe 59, 58 QBR. Then I think we there.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rob, and these expectations, we're talking about Kenny specifically, right? And not
Kenny specifically, yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, you and I agree, and they've stated that the running game is going to be a big focus going in this upcoming year. So I'm not expecting Kenny to have big numbers throwing the ball, because I'm thinking distribution wise, it's going to be at a minimum 50% running the ball. I could be wrong. So what I'm envisioning from Kenny is going to be at the very most 3,500 yards throwing the ball. In fact, I'm thinking probably more like 32 or 3,300, because and again, I don't have a calculator in front of me, but you're talking about numbers. Still, this will help Kenny P. I need the run game to contribute at least 150 yards a game. If we get to that position, then we don't need Kenny Pickett to throw 4,000 yards for the year. I would be ecstatic if he gets to 3,500 yards this year. I think the team will be in good shape. I mean, like you just stated, winning is the bottom line.
Right.
Statistics are all secondary. So,
yeah.
I'll take Kenny P in 3,300 yards, and we win 10 or 11 games.
Yeah, if we run 150 yards a game, Todd, that's a lot in today's NFL.
Yes, in today's NFL, you are right.
Yeah.
But we are bucking the trend as an organization, Rob, and going Raven-esque in trying to run the ball more, because we're going against the grain. We're basically saying we know everybody else is doing their thing. That's cool, but we're doing our thing, and our thing happens to be different from what everybody else is doing. So really, from Kenny, I want to see. I would say, Rob, on average, I would be good with around 230, 235 a game passing the ball. I want to see at a minimum a 2-to-1 ratio in touchdowns to interceptions, a minimum of 2-to-1. So if he throws 20 touchdowns and has 10 picks, that would be acceptable.
Right.
Completion percentage needs to be definitely pushing 65%. I don't think that's asking too much. QBR, I got to admit, I don't pay too much to QBR myself, but he needs to bump it up at least whatever the number you had earlier. It needs to be at a minimum 10 points higher than whatever it was last year.
Wow, if he up in the 60s like that, man, we doing real good.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I hear QBR numbers, I'm hearing these Aaron Rodgers guys with their 85s and all that stuff. So I'm thinking if you're in the 60s, mid 60s, you're probably doing pretty good.
Well, it's two different quarterback ratings. One is QBR and one is QB rating. They two different things. When Ben have a perfect game, it used to be 150 something other.
Yes.
It's almost half that now. If you have a perfect, it's 70 something.
Okay.
Yeah, QBR is a lot more. It's a lot more to it.
Okay.
So I think Patrick Mahomes was number one with 76 something.
Okay.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
I think if you go by that number, Kenny Pickett last year was at 76.7 at QB rating.
Okay.
Now QBR, he's at 51.5. You see the difference?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to get that 51 up to at least 61. If we can get it up about 10 points,
man. Yeah, we'd be rolling.
We would be rolling. So
okay.
Yeah. I'm not expecting Kenny P just to come in and just chunk the rock all over the place. We don't really need. I don't think we really need that. So his numbers may be tempered a bit, but again, if that leads to more wins, I don't think there's any Steeler fans out there that are going to complain too much about that.
Well, I think Kenny P gonna have the ability to do both. That game against Cincinnati, he showed he can put up points if we need to. So, I want him to be just whatever we need for the day.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. All right, let's move on, Todd. Last thing, with all that being said about Kenny P, what do you see his ceiling? What is his comp for you?
Okay. This is difficult, Rob, because to me, when you say what's the comp, there's multiple factors that go into it. It
Right.
goes into physical ability, mental ability, ability to process on the field.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put somebody in a box, but that's
Right.
fine. This is an exercise. We'll do it. I'm going with Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
and that's okay. So what I'm saying is to you, Rob, is this: Kenny P has athletic ability. He has good athletic ability, but
Yeah.
does he have great athletic ability? And the answer is no.
No.
Okay, and that's okay. We
Right.
don't, he's not Justin Herbert or he's not, Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have the greatest arm. He doesn't have the fastest legs. None of that truly matters. What matters to me is between the ears in
Right.
making good decisions. So when I say Kirk Cousins, I know everybody looks at Kirk Cousins and all the mistakes he makes in the postseason because he's great during the regular season. He puts up
Okay.
great numbers. So when I'm saying Kirk Cousins, I'm looking at it, Rob, from a physical standpoint. Okay. I do think that when it's all said and done, Kenny P's postseason career will be better than Kirk Cousins. But I think as far as his cap on what he can bring physically fits into the Kirk Cousins box. As in, I got a really good arm, but do I have a really strong arm? No, probably not. Do I have escapability? Yes, I have some escapability. But again, I'm not Lamar Jackson. I'm not Deshaun Watson, whoever the hell else, Jalen Hurts, whoever else you can think of, which again, that's okay. So again, I'm not saying he's going to be exactly like Kirk Cousins, but I think he fits the Kirk Cousins mold where you don't have to be fantastic and have to have success.
Okay. Can I disagree with you?
Sure. Yeah, go right ahead.
So to me, he's a lot more mobile than Kirk Cousins. I give you that. You saying he's not exactly like Kirk Cousins, but as much as you can, you fit him in the Kirk Cousins box. Me, I'm on the high side a little bit because I see some factors that I like a lot better than Kirk Cousins. One, I comp him to Joe Montana. Now, before you get your panties in the water, Todd.
Oh, I'm not, man. I think it's hilarious. I want to hear.
Hilarious.
I want to hear what you got to say.
Hilarious. Why is it funny?
Rob, if you picked out one characteristic, and again, I'm saying this and I'll say, if there's one characteristic that Kenny Pickett will exude as a pro that Joe Montana did, then I will admit on the show years from now, I'll admit I was wrong.
Okay.
And that you were right. He just needs to do one thing that Joe Montana did, intangibility wise. If he does one of those things, I will be immeasurably impressed.
Let me tell you. Okay, I'm gonna give you a few examples how I comp to him. You said escapability. If you go back and look at Joe Montana, how he used to escape out the pocket, man, it looks eerily similar to Kenny P. I'm just saying. Go back and look at it.
Okay.
Accuracy. I've been claiming that Kenny Pickett's accuracy is top notch. I think that's the one thing he might have that is great.
Okay.
We still got to see it, but as far as a rookie, it was really good.
Okay.
Some things you can't measure. I think the grit is grit, like Joe Montana, and his calmness under pressure.
Right there. I right now, I mean, we hadn't seen that much, but I'm going to totally agree with you. There is the calmness under pressure. I saw that last year, and I like that a lot.
So I've been screaming these things since I first saw him in preseason games, Todd. You know that, right?
Yes, I remember.
So I'm expecting him to take a big jump this year. If he takes a average jump, we're in the playoffs. If he takes a Jalen Hurts jump, we might be in the AFC Championship game. And don't laugh.
I'm not gonna laugh. I promise.
Other people
You
might.
laughed. You laughed, Rob. You laughed.
I laugh.
Why, Rob? See, you almost had me believe it, and then you went and ruined it.
Oh man. Well, I tell you what, Todd. I'm gonna let Yoda laugh at you. How about that?
Okay, that's cool.
Coach Yoda T making an appearance on Still Talking Baby.
Welcome back, Coach.
Yeah, all right, Todd. That's all I have, man. Anything you want to say in closing?
No, we've got, give or take another 6 weeks until camp.
Right.
I still think there are some opportunities to go out and find a couple of players. It may not be until during camp or even right there. The Steelers are known for making that signing right after camp is done and the first cuts are made.
Yeah.
Going out and finding a gem somewhere. I would really like for there to be an inside linebacker available for whatever reason, salary cut, I don't care, just not injured. We really, I appreciate what the team's done so far. They've made every effort to fill those holes at inside linebacker, but I'm telling you, it's just not going to be enough. The D line is going to get worn down like they were last year against the run if we don't get better support from the inside linebackers. And I mean, this is the obvious statement I'm making. Miles Jack and my God, I've already forgotten his name, Devin Bush.
Yeah.
Those two guys couldn't catch a cold. So these guys have certainly got to be better than that, and certainly got to be more physical. But we need more. We need more depth at that position, and I just hope that there's a gem on another roster right now that we can get a crack at before the season actually starts.
You always want more.
That's my want to.
You always want more. You always want more.
Yes, Rob. That's because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
All fans want more.
You starting to sound like me.
Just like I want Alex Highsmith to hurry up and get this contract.
Yeah, they're going to get it done.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so. He deserves it.
Yeah, in closing, I'm going to say this. Kenny P going to be a star. He's going to be a star, Todd. So we got our quarterback for the next 10 years or so, and I would love to see 2 Super Bowls out of it.
I would love to see 1 Super Bowl.
See, why you don't want more now?
Because I just know how things go, Rob. I mean, think about it, man.
Oh, man.
Look how long we've waited since the last one. To think that KP is going to be part of something special, Rob, that's going to pull down 2 championships in, give or take, 10 years. That's high expectations, especially knowing who he's got to go up against for the next 10 years, barring some major injury to somebody, which we don't wish that. But, I mean, he's got to go up against Mahomes. He's got to go up against Burrow. He's got to go up against Justin Herbert and Josh Allen and whoever else comes down the pipe in the next couple of years. I mean, the AFC, I mean, unless a balance changes somehow, Rob, like guys get traded.
Yeah.
The AFC is clearly going to be the tougher road in the short term. So that makes it even that much harder. I mean, I don't think worse would be if Tom Brady was still playing.
Well, Kenny P hasn't turned into Kenny P, baby. That's why I said he's going to be a star. He's going to add to that list. And if he's somewhere up in there, I think we have a good coaching staff. I think we have a winning organization. So I think with a good quarterback, great quarterback, it makes us that much more better than other teams that have a great quarterback and doesn't have the organization behind it. Look at Buffalo. They already having problems.
I hope you're right. That's all I can say. I hope you're right.
I'm always right, Todd.
Now you're being silly.
All right, Carl, let's close them out,
that's
man.
Okay.
Here we go, Steelers.
Here we go.
Who?